Oh my gosh, hello everybody. Let's talk about the greatness that happened in this episode. Boku no Hero Academia episode 12. Now if I know, oh my goodness, I can't. This is the episode that everyone is gonna remember. It's actually phenomenal, this episode. I had to get up and record this because I just finished the episode a couple of minutes ago and I am just I'm so hyped right now. How freaking awesome was that episode? Now, All Might is this is why I love All Might, man. The man is a beast, and I really gotta give my props to Bone Studio because they really made this fight 10 out of 10. The animation in this episode, the animation in this fight between Noumu and All Might, I was just at awe. I was literally starstruck at watching this episode. I was just the fight scenes and everything was beautiful. It was just it's a dream come true, man. Just seeing that animated and seeing it animated to the best potential, to the best of animation that I've seen. It looked beautiful in my opinion. I really loved it. The animation was top notch. The fight scenes was beautiful, and just seeing the OSTs just brought everything together. I was just this is so cool. Now, this episode, it's not confirmed. It didn't confirm it. It just reinforced my confirmation that when this gets DVD, when it gets Blu-ray, I have to buy it. I have to get this series when in Blu-ray because honestly, DVD, Blu-ray, this is beautiful. I want to watch the episode again. I just want to I can't. I'm actually lost for words. But damn, that was just honestly, All Might couldn't have said it better myself. Plus freaking Ultra, because this is why I love Boku no Hero. The fight scenes are awesome, but the drive behind it is just beautiful, and that's why I love the phrase plus Ultra, because that's just the height of Boku no Hero. Plus Ultra. I genuinely don't even know what it actually means. I just always hear it I just know it. I just know plus Ultra. I know it because they've been saying it from the start. Obviously from a manga reader. But I know it's just going beyond beyond your limits and all that kind of thing, and that's a very evident theme in Boku no Hero. It's shown again and again, going beyond your limits, going beyond what people say that you can't do, and we see it in this episode. Now in this episode we find out that Noumu, he was literally built to withstand 100% out of All Might, and All Might just plus Ultra breaks through that status quo, and he's just if you can withstand 100%, let me give it better than that. And I'm just this is beautiful because a lot of things what I loved about it so much is how it made me even get more hyped from seeing from an anime viewpoint, and that's what it should do. The anime done this fight so much justice that I'd prefer watching it than reading it, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to look back on an episode and be yeah, I'd rather prefer reading that. The manga was better than the adaptation. That can't be right. The adaptation has to be not equal, has to be better in my opinion than the manga, than its original source material. That's my viewpoint. And what this episode was. This was it, because you'll see Noumu and All Might, they're coming together, and it's just so sick. My favorite hypest moment is definitely when All Might's swinging him around in the air and he throws him down. It creates a crater, and then Noumi's just getting back up, and Noumi's just a monster. And that's what I liked about it, because it's just relentless. He's just we're not seeing any emotion, he's not speaking, he's just an animal. That's what he is, an animalistic monster. And he's coming out and giving everything to All Might. All Might's taking it and bleeding and everything, and he's giving it back up. It was a beast. And the way he done it, he said 300 hits, man. 300 freaking hits. And the thing is though, you gotta understand the fact that was 300 hits. It weren't just Noumu weren't doing anything. Noumu was giving those hits back as well. So All Might was taking in, he was tanking in those hits, and All Might still done it. And the best one was when it was the last one, because you see the whole the one through all, the lights and all that kind of thing burning up within his in his hand and everything, and he's just that was just beautiful. Either way, this chapter was a 10 out. Not this chapter, sorry, this episode. This one, I can't even say it's a 10 out of 10. This episode was GOAT. Honestly, it was so GOAT. Everything. Not just the fight scene with All Might and Noumu. That's the thing that I'm going to remember the most of this episode. But of course, everything else. Bakugo coming in. Todoroki, Kirishima. They're all doing their bits. When Bakugo basically immobilizes Kurogiri, and we find out Kurogiri is the warp gate kind of guy, if you didn't realize. But Bakugo just immobilizes him, from the whole thing that basically his body's still there, and he uses part of his quirk to hide his body. So at first you think he just doesn't have a physical body, but he's actually hiding it. And we kind of found out when Uraraka touched him and floated him away, so we went into a bit more depth from that. Now, a thing happened which I want to talk about in this episode, and that was Shigaraki. And Shigaraki's the hands guy. We did find out his name in the previous episode, actually. It was very, it was very sly. His name drop was very sly. But yeah, either way, it is what it is. But now, when All Might first enters, he comes in, and first of all he takes out before the villains. Then he comes in and takes away Aizawa, Deku, Mineta, and Tsuyu. And whilst he's doing that, he manages to hit Shigaraki. Now, when he does this, Shigaraki's hand falls off. We don't see his whole face when it happens, because he uses his arm, his actual hand, to cover his face. When that happens, obviously, one of the hands falling, he calls it a father. Now, I don't want to spoil too much, of course, and I don't want to be diving into something like the manga and all that kind of stuff, but that was an interesting point to take out. Now, that's obviously that's obviously hinting part of Shigaraki's, his backstory, his history. I'd like to know a bit more about that, definitely. Why did he... And he sounded sincere. Like, the way he was saying it, he seemed like he was in anguish, the fact that his hand came off. So either he was in anguish of the fact that his father's hand kind of left his face, or he was in anguish in the fact that that hit hurt All Might. And I'm thinking it's going to be the former, with the one that his hand fell off his face. Now that could be just because he obviously wants his father close to him. It's still a little bit weird, the fact how he has his father's hand on his face. That's still a little bit odd. So it really does build up a lot of interest to Shigaraki's character as the villain, and just his personality in general, because I want to find out more about him. Now, that's all he said. He didn't really dive into anything. I don't think anyone else heard it about the whole father, because if Deku would have heard of it, I'm sure Deku would have, thought of something, or he would have stated or said something to himself. Why is that man calling his hand father? So we obviously have to find out later on as the series unfolds. Now, I'm just thinking what happened. I'm still my mind's all over the place, just seeing from that hypeness, that greatness that was Noumu and All Might fighting. That was beautiful. And I just love it, the fact that, Noumu was out of the park. And when I mean out of the park, the man was out of the park. He went through clouds, he cleared the field. I was just like, yo, that's just madness. So it was a really good episode, pretty much All Might saving the day, coming in and saving everyone. Now, I don't know what's going to happen next episode. I'm sure the more teachers are going to arrive. That would be pretty cool to see it. I've realised with Deku, we saw it in this episode, you're really seeing the fear that Deku has with All Might, because obviously this was a dangerous moment. You even see Noumu who's attacking All Might's wound, and you can kind of tell, you can kind of see that it's valid for Deku's fear. Now, I would say what Deku done, it was pretty awesome, I'm not going to lie. Deku coming and running in to try and save him, but it could have been dangerous, so it makes you think, if Bakugo and Kirishima, if those guys weren't there, who knows what would have happened to Deku. But either way, this episode was beautiful, and I loved it. I cannot wait for the hype that is next week. Possibly 13 episodes this series is going to be, or maybe so next week maybe it's finale. I've heard there may be 14 episodes, but I'll take that with a pinch of salt. So Shinigami Sam, tell me your thoughts, comment below. What you thought of this episode, what you liked about it, the animation, the hypeness, the goatness that is All Might versus Noumu. That was beast, honestly. It was beautiful. If you like any more, if you liked anything I had to say, drop a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. This is Shinigami Sam, and I'll see you next week for that greatness, for that episode 13. Goodbye.